Hello and welcome everybody to the newest installment in the incredible adventures of the unsinkable Alice Alice Baker. Tauri East, Part 3, Water's Edge. You have come to Chichen Itza. You have started to work there. You have done your first photographic documentations of the 3 stelae which have been uncovered, each of which represents a mother goddess of the Aztec or Incan peoples, because what you have learned is that Chichen Itza seems to be a little bit of a syncretistic place, because some of the art is definitely not Incan. And it's quite a puzzle as to why this is. And today it is morning, just after breakfast. Lunch packages have been put together. You are going to go to a cenote on the northern end of the Chichen Itza area. It's called Cenote Sagrado, and basically the idea is to lower volunteers down into the cenote so that they can either draw Mrs. Edwards or take pictures, maybe Alice Baker, and to basically explore what is down there, because cenotes are quite often, well, first of all, they're natural structures. They have not been built, and they have been used as sacrificial or places of sacrifice, where both people but also artifacts were thrown in to essentially usually beg for water and rain. And so they are trying to find out what the Cenote Sagrado holds, if it holds anything. And basically you have said yes, you want to go as well, and Dottie is really into this. She would love if she gets the chance to actually go down and basically just look around. And you make your way there, and it's about 1.5 hours of walking through the jungle. They have been working on the jungle there so that it's not as dense anymore, but you will have local guides that will also help with cutting back the foliage and stuff, because at the end of the day, this is still jungle. And you know that it's also dangerous, because we have predators, we have jaguars, we have snakes as well. And so off you go. What do you take with you?
First of all, clothes-wise, definitely trousers, boots, to make sure everything is closed up properly. Also telling Dottie that this is the way to go. I know usually it's not her, but here it's really just practical. And she will, well, next to water and a little bit of food, everything that everyone has, she will take her notebook with pen, and she will also have a camera with a bit of gear with her as well. And as usual, she always has a little knife with her. And I suspect she would have a cane to walk with as well, just for the difficult parts, that she has a cane. And I don't think it would be her cane that has a dagger in there, because it's much too pretty. It would just be a useful cane. Sturdy, wood, robust, and it doesn't matter if it's scratched or anything. So that would be the one she would take.
So now both of you need to make a dexterity roll.
Oh god.
Oh, on a 60 she is fine.
Nope. 52, I fail my dex.
Okay, then make a con save at disadvantage.
Okay.
She doesn't pass her con check.
I fail my con check for sure. Oh, it's even getting worse. So double fail.
Okay, so the two of you, it is kind of tough. And by the time you get there, the two of you are very exhausted. So basically, the guys set up. So it's kind of like the local guides have been carrying your photo equipment and other stuff as well, but they've also been carrying a kind of pulley system that they're going to put up over these cenote, and then
So you
you
can
basically
lift
will be
it up
strapped
and
in.
down.
It's like a harness, and then they will lower you down. But that is basically wooden planks, like, you know, easels and stuff that they're going to set up, and it's actually quite heavy, so this takes a while. After I would say the better part of an hour or more than an hour, it's set up, and Edwards tries it out first to see, does it work, or is it too is it sturdy? So he actually has himself lowered down first, just to be on the safe side. He's quite chill about this. His wife completely ignores what's going on because she has other things to do. She's started drawing the environment.
Okay. So they've done that for sure before, as it
Yeah, maybe
seems.
not here, but in general, yes. And then he comes back up again and he says, well, I think we are in luck because for the last several months, there has been this worldwide drought. Now, this means that the actual cenote, while not completely dry, has a very low water level.
Okay.
So you can now see things that you wouldn't normally be able to see. And he says he believes that he has spotted stuff in the water.
Ooh.
That you may be able to retrieve. And so basically, do you want to go down?
Yes.
Okay, good. So he straps you in. And he says, I think that we can actually go down there in pairs. So one person first and then the other one, because if we just move the pulley system a little bit to the right, that you will be able to come down on a ledge, get out of the harness and send the harness back up, and then somebody else comes down. So give me a dex check
Okay.
with
I think
advantage.
general we would have had like lanterns or at
Absolutely.
least light with us.
Well, actually,
sure.
I'm going to. Sorry, this is my mistake. I was going to show you the picture of the cenote. It's a photograph,
and a big fail in dex.
with advantage.
I did not roll advantage. It doesn't matter.
Okay, good. So this is what this looks like. Can you see the cenote?
Yes.
It is ultra bright. These are huge. They are almost like towers that go straight into the
Then
the
I
earth.
know.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
even, it's not even a
suspected what
cavern.
it is.
Yeah. So yes, you can bring lights, but it is actually fully daylit.
Okay. Then
But yes, there will be lights if you need them.
I think just for in case of. But yeah, Alice is basically struggling still to get down because she rolled even with advantage an 82.
Okay, good. So basically, you do get a little bit wet.
That's fine.
Then you send up the harness.
Yes, I send it up.
Okay, then Dottie's going to follow you with a 22. Yeah, 22. She manages to get there without any problem. She gets out of the harness, but the harness now stays, so they're basically not pulling it up because because you will have to use it later. So now you are in the cenote, and you can see that the ledge will actually allow you to walk around the perimeter of it. What do you want to do?
I think Alice would do like one circle walk around to just take in how the layout is, and also clearly to keep an eye open if she sees anything that looks not natural.
Okay, so first you look at the walls, I think, at the stage.
And a little bit of where we can walk, at least a little bit where
Okay.
also
so,
to make sure that we don't step on anything, clearly, because you don't want to break pottery or whatever.
Okay, then please make a spot hidden.
So let's see, which could be in theory something she can do. What is it with this dice today?
Dottie sees nothing.
Well, I have a success barely, so
Tick it.
69. Yeah, also already it is already ticked, but
Okay.
69 is a bad roll for Alice.
Yeah, but I mean, still, on the ledge there is nothing that you can step on. You have to be a little bit careful because there are still some plants, but since it's been so dry for so long, it's not really slippery, but you could get entangled. So you really have to watch your step, but you don't have any problems. And she didn't fail critically, so she doesn't fall in. It's not like she's not seeing something important. The actual cenote is, as you would expect it to be, because you've read up on them, a completely natural thing. It's quite probable that the Incans never really went down them and built anything in them or smoothed them out or anything, but just basically took the natural structures as they were and then just threw the stuff in, or the people that they wanted to sacrifice. So it's in keeping with what you would expect to see, completely natural, huge. It is very big. And then you come full circle. And do you look into the water?
I think that would be for a second round. I think first round would be circling, also making sure that you can walk by without stepping on something, and she would keep an eye open for a good place to set up the camera to make a picture of how it looks down here, just generally. So I think first of all she would take a picture of basically wide angle, how it's looking down here, similar as the picture that you showed. So that would be her first thing to do. And the good thing is that is not moving, so that should be quite easy to make a proper picture.
So you take a picture of the cenote itself.
Yes.
It is make a luck roll.
That is a 40, so yes.
Okay, so basically, you are in luck. On the one hand, you've been contracted, of course, to do scientific work. You are Alice Baker. What things look like is important to you.
Yes.
And you manage to catch an exposure where the sun is kind of being filtered a little bit. Well, it's filtered a lot by the green canopy of leaves, but there are no clouds at that very moment. So it's almost like emerald, like molten emeralds rushing down. It looks beautiful, fantastic. The problem is the picture will be in black and white, but you know that while the colors won't be there, the flickering
How
of the
it
light
looks-
will come out.
Yeah. That
So
needs to
you
be
take a
pretty.
picture that looks really good. Also,
Good.
it's scientific, but it also is beautiful.
Then the next would be to walk around a little in the water as best as we can without making sure that we are not dumping into another hole or whatever is there. And seeing if we can find anything that looks man-made.
Okay, so you're basically stepping into the water. Okay, make a dex check. Oh my word, she botched.
I rolled a 7. I have a
Excellent.
critical success in Dex. Water
Okay,
seems
so
to
she
be
has a
fine.
critical failure.
Oh boy.
Dottie walks behind you, and suddenly you hear a sound and then splashing. You turn around, and she's nowhere to be seen.
I will quickly walk back and see if I can grab her and pull her up.
Okay, make a spot hidden.
Come on, dice. No success.
Okay, the problem is that the water is now disturbed. And because it has been so dry, the water is also a little bit muddy because the water level is so low. So you cannot at the moment find her, you cannot see her, but you can see that somebody's flailing.
Can I just grab and
Yes,
try to
you can
pull
try.
up whatever
Yeah.
I can grab on clothing?
Make a luck check if you grab her or if she's waving her around too badly.
Nope, that was a 76. That's not luck.
Okay, so basically you don't manage to grab onto her. She has to do a swim roll. 97! It doesn't get any better. She fails a swim roll, which you don't know. But suddenly the flailing stops. What do you do?
Walking a step closer and trying again just to grab what I can find. Maybe even using like my cane to like fish a little. Also just for me. Are Dottie and I the only one down here?
Yeah, it's just the two of you. Okay, then make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Let's use you. Don't make me switch out the dice.
Nope.
It's not happening. Goodbye, Dottie. The dice are giving me everything above 80 at the moment.
You're not feeling anything. What do you do? Fail the swim roll.
Yelling for help will not be quick enough, for sure. Until they pulled it up and put someone down again. It would be too slow. I think she would just basically throw herself in the water now and would try to really...
Make a swim roll.
Crazy enough to dive. She can't swim very well, so yay. Do I even... Yeah, I have swim, the basic swim that I can have.
Okay, so the following thing happens. Oh, now we're getting the evil dice are being removed. What happens?
All of them are rolling only above 70 at the moment, which is a problem.
Oh, she's getting better, but still no pass. The thing is, you were wearing clothes, linen.
Yep.
They have been soaked in water. You get really heavy. You are dragged down.
Great. Can I use my cane to get kind of a grip at least to not sink completely, but get my head at least above water again?
Yes, but as you do so, you realize that there is a hole in the wall. Kind of like to your side and down. And it looks like she may have gone down that hole.
I would still try to push myself up, at least to get a controlled way of taking a breather. Yelling.
You managed to do that.
Okay, then I would be yelling because they would be sitting upstairs and listening, I suspect. And she would just yell that Dottie disappeared in a whole water. Help needed. And then she will take a breather, still holding on to the cane, and she will try to dive again and try to follow.
Okay, so you try to dive. Make a con check.
That's much nicer because that is a 1.
Oh, very good. So basically you have managed to fill your lungs with air. Now you don't need to make a swim roll because now you're really controlling it and you know what you're doing. So you dive. Do you go into that hole?
I will, and still try to... I don't know how much I can see, probably not much, but at least try to... If there's any... Because her clothing as well, maybe you can at least see a bit. Maybe.
So you dive through the hole.
I would try to follow.
You dive through the hole.
Yep.
And the muddy waters clear. And you can see literally light at the end of the tunnel. It's not that big a tunnel. It's not like you have to go through a long tunnel, but there's definitely a hole that goes a little bit down, but then it's basically like a tunnel, maybe 2 of your body lengths. So 4 meters. Well, you're not 2 meters tall, but like, you're 170. So let's say 340, 350. So you have to push through And you can do that. It's not a problem. And you also don't need to do a swim roll because you can pull yourself, if you like, along the wall.
I would do that. Do I see any signs of Dottie? Since you said the water cleared up.
Yes, you do. She's definitely, you can see a shadow in the distance that is definitely human.
Does it move?
Yes.
Okay.
It's trying to swim.
As long as it's still moving, I think that will give Alice at least not to panic, but to be calm and trying to just follow.
Okay, so
Light
you follow.
is usually a good thing because there might be air again. So following and using the wall basically to push myself forward.
Okay, let's make a luck check.
Should I roll luck?
Please, yes. She's rolled.
That's with a 40 a success.
Okay, good. You
Out. I will keep you.
You suddenly see the shadow before you move up quite quickly. So, and definitely this is somebody's willing themselves to be pushed up. So this is a determined motion, and they're propelling themselves upward. Do you keep following?
Yes. Because
Okay, you
also
burst
Alice knows
through.
she will need air in a little bit of time. So definitely following.
So you push through, and then you see that basically the tunnel is no longer actually going down, evens out, and you go through, and you realize you are in a second basin, kind of. So it's connected.
Yep.
And there's light above you.
Okay.
Do you push up?
And I will try to push up in hopes that there should be air.
You push up, you see the light. The light is slightly different. It's a bit weird because it's completely rainbow colored. But maybe this is just the sun and the spray, prisms at work. Who knows? Maybe there is some kind of under a subterranean waterfall here, and so there could be spray, and that could be breaking the light, fracturing it.
I don't even think Alice would think too much about it. Light, air. I think focus would be hopefully there's air and hopefully there's Dottie.
You push up.
Yep.
You reach the surface. You break through. Yes, there is air.
Is there a Dottie? Because I would hectically look around and see if she's
There is a Dottie. She's basically playing dead man. But she's definitely not dead. She is...
Okay. I would still paddle over to her, be like, Dottie?
She says, Alice, oh my God. And then you realize immediately that she is completely blue in the face, and you notice that it's ice cold. The temperature has dropped. You are actually surprised that the water hasn't frozen. It is freezing. And you notice that her hair, which is wet, is starting to frost over. So it's basically starting to freeze. She's got little icicles in her brown hair.
Alice would grab or would feel her own hair if it's
Same
the
effect.
same.
Yeah.
Just hold on. Don't freeze to death for me. Keep on moving. Don't float. Move. And I would just nudge her and I would dive again because I want to see if the tunnel we came through, if I can see it.
Make a... first of all, you feel... please make a con check to see how much air you get.
Let's see how you're behaving. Also better. 25 is
Good.
Normal success.
Okay, so no problem there. Then make a spot hidden.
Let's see what you say. Normal success.
Okay. It's a bit difficult, but you can't really see it. Also, the water is really cold now.
I think Alice will just make sure she goes up again. I can't see the exit anymore. I think she would hectically have a look around. Is there something like, or is it only water, or is there like
There is.
a shore, basically,
get
where we
out.
can get
Yes.
out. Which will not really help because we will still freeze to death there. I think Alice would stay in the water, paddling, staying in motion, and would make like a full circle to just really take in her surrounding. And also yell at Dottie to move.
So basically, I want you to do a power check now.
Okay. That is always a strong suit. Although a power is better than a dex. 25, it's a hard success on power.
You're kind of calming down now. You know, so one thing that you were afraid of, that's fine because Dottie's, at this moment in time, Dottie is still alive, so that's good.
Dottie is alive, and now, it's it's trying functioning brain
Yes,
to try
now,
to find a way out.
And now you're taking in your surroundings more. We know about the cold, but now, as you have risen again, of course, your face is full of water. And the water reaches your lips, and some of it, you basically taste it on your lips. And you notice something that you did not expect. This is salt water. All cenotes are always fresh water. And the cenote that you fell into was fresh water as well. This is salt water. It's cold salt water. This is the sea.
I think Alice would use not proper language to repeat here, and would curse gods and supernatural things. And what the heck is happening here? And so she now Alice she's angry. She's turning to angry mode now because she is. The idea was to have a nice, relaxed time. And I think she would just yell at Dottie again, don't stop moving, we need to keep warm, and help me find the exit. And Alice would dive again and would see if she can find the stupid tunnel back out.
Roll, spot hidden.
It's a normal success, I'm not getting better.
$48. Okay, yeah, that's a normal success for her. She doesn't dive. She waits for you to come back up and she says, why don't we go that way?
I will follow where she's pointing at.
Basically, you are in a cave. Not a surprise, it's not a cenote. There is a cave entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go outside?
But we will die out there, Dottie. We will freeze
We will
to
die
death.
in here.
There must be a way back. We came through here. And Alice will just take a deep breath and she will go down again.
Con check. And then she drowns.
Oh no, I rolled a 9. Her
Very good.
constitution is very good,
So you get to make 3 spot hidden checks.
Okay. Normal success. Hard success. And normal success.
Hard success.
Yeah, one hard to normal.
Okay, you do see something.
What do I see?
She's going to kill me for this, I know it already.
The good thing is you're sitting far away, so I can't get through to you. What Alice will be murdering people in her mind, but so be it. Honestly, don't expect that I see the tunnel where we came through, but I'm curious what we see.
For just a brief moment, you could have sworn that your eyes glided across something that looks very much like the scales of a snake. Maybe a really big one. Definitely the scales of a snake.
A big one.
And that's when the internet broke down.
She will definitely get back to the surface because air. She would curse again at the gods. And
I'm sorry, guys. Don't take it personally. It's me.
it's Alice and her interesting combination with gods. And then she would start swimming towards the cave entrance, exit, whatever it is, and just yell at Dottie, we need to get out. There's something in here that we don't want to meet. It has scales. It's big.
You leave the cave.
Just standing outside the water, is it still... I guess it should be freezing as well, because if the hair and so on start freezing, the air needs to be cold.
It is very cold. Very cold indeed.
Well, the gods will still hear very evil words towards them. Also, like, if you want to kill us, just strike us with lightning instead of having us freeze to death here.
You make it outside. Do you leave the water?
We leave the water. And I think immediate idea from Alice is we need to find a way to make a fire and warm up. Because we will be dead within minutes if we are out here wet.
Okay. Well, the good thing is that yes, you are freezing. Yes, there is water. Yes, there is ice, but there's also a giant forest behind you. A vast forest. And it's not a jungle. It's more like northern forest. Think fir trees. And at that moment, you hear a noise.
Alice will just instinctively grab Dottie's hand.
And it's a weird noise. It's as if somebody has pulled out the plug in a really giant bathtub. Water is beginning to gurgle. There's a maelstrom forming in the ocean behind you. And out of the water rises the extremely large head and upper body of a snake that could easily swallow the Statue of Liberty as if it was nothing. And it looks around and it fixates its yellow eyes with the vertical slits on the two of you. And it looks at you.
Alice will just whisper, "Hail, if your family is not behaving." Because Alice knows what or who that is, because we dove enough into northern mythology. She would just stare back, and she will probably just say out loud, "Not funny, bring us back."
The snake tilts its head. The fact that it has risen from the depths has also meant that the waters have receded, because obviously the displacement of water by such a big creature, it has lifted itself out and it has actually moved part of its body onto land. And it puts down its head, or she's a she, puts her head down and looks at you.
Oh, Alice is so tempted to storm forwards and hit it with a cane.
Okay, then make a pout check.
No, she's not. She's not doing that. But she's think in her mind she's doing that, but she is not really.
What does
doing
Alice
it.
know about snakes?
That A, usually they're dangerous. B, some snakes you can scare off and being loud, depending on what kind of snake it is. But some of them at least don't like loud noises and hectical noises, so...
But do you know how they smell?
Well, with the
whole
tongue,
thing-
yeah,
okay.
she will know that generally.
Because she opens her maw, and we're talking. The Statue of Liberty could walk into that maw without any problem, and this huge tongue comes out, and it moves towards you in this like meandering movement very quickly, and then it withdraws, and it just keeps looking at you.
I think Alice would look at Dottie and she would be like, I don't freaking care, we need to get warm. And there's wood there who will have to make a fire. And she would just pull Dottie away from the snake. Except Dottie wants to do something, but Alice is, because it's freaking cold, she would pull towards wood to get
Dottie
wood
has managed to fail her power check, which in and of itself is
good.
quite difficult because her power is 85.
Yes, it
Dottie
is.
is frozen in place. In this case, not literally, but she is completely overwhelmed. She doesn't know, and she needs to do a sanity check, I think. Oh my god, she passes. Good. She only loses 1d4. She loses 2. I don't know if I want to get warm with this around.
It's Hell's sister. That shouldn't be a problem. Come on, and I will just really pull. Just using strength to get her at least stumble after me.
It's a giant snake.
It's Hell's sister. Quite sure about it. You read the stories from the Northern mythology. Just
But that was a
ignore.
story.
Well, Hell is not a story either. Come on.
I didn't see her, and I saw this.
I know. I'm just thinking the vision with the wolf. Did
That
Alice
was you.
have that?
You had
Oh.
you dreamt it.
But I told Dottie
Yeah.
from it. Well, it's. I dreamt about brother. Now we need to get warm. I don't care if we die here. I don't want to be dying because I'm freezing to death. If it wants to talk to us, it can follow. And I will just pull towards the woods.
Dottie looks over her shoulder. She's really kind of
Stop
like,
looking! Stop looking at it. Focus. We need to find wood, dry wood, to make a fire.
She just barely passes her power check, and she basically can shake herself free from this, but she keeps
We
every so
need to
often looking.
focus on surviving first. I don't care about all this at the moment. It's about us not dying, because I can barely feel my fingers and toes anymore. And I suspect you are the same.
You go to the forest.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for wood and a place to make a little fire. Obviously,
find
also
wood.
trying to find. It needs to be dry wood, not wet wood. And I would. It's a good question. Would Alice have a lighter in her pocket? I
Make a luck check.
so. She's a smoker.
Oh yes, and you would have been smoking because it keeps the insects away.
So she would have a lighter there. She would just need to make sure probably dry it on her clothes, and it will be hard to start. I'm not sure during that time were Zippos already a thing.
Yeah, I think this is
the
where they
travel
originated.
things.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think then, and as soon as we have like a decent amount of wood together, Alice would also make sure that we're not right next to a tree. I don't want to have the forest burn, but trying to get a fire going, which will keep us busy for a while. And she's completely trying to ignore the serpent.
You actually do not see the serpent if you move too far into the forest, because she doesn't seem to be following you. She's just lying there.
I think Alice would stay at the edge of the forest. She would not go too deep.
Okay.
Depending on where we find wood, but her idea would be let's keep it more at the edge of the forest.
Well, you do find wood
Because in the forest we will lose our way quickly.
The thing is, the forest is so dense that there is little to no snow on the ground.
Good.
Because it's not managed to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And you can build a fire, and it works, and it does keep you warm.
Then getting rid of at least some of the clothes to have them dried and try to warm up.
Make a contract.
Yeah, great. That is a 39, which is a normal success.
And she's at a 10. She's fine. Okay. Yeah, she has a critical success. 10 is a critical for her. Dottie is fine. She's doing really well. She has kind of recovered a lot more than you might have thought, because she was, by all counts and purposes, she actually almost drowned.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what just happened? I mean, seriously.
Alice is writing in a very wet notebook.
Did you spill your tea?
No, but it went underwater with her, so it's definitely useless for sure. But still, I honestly am not sure why we are here, but remember my dream.
Yes. Don't tell me that the sun is going to go out any second now, because honestly, no.
I have. Well, we are obviously not in the jungle anymore. After meeting Hel and now seeing in a dream, vision, whatever you want to call it, her brother, and now seeing her sister pointing roughly in the direction where the snake is. I don't know why the northern gods now have it on us. I highly suspect it's all still about the one that is missing. And they don't like us to have a time out to collect ourselves, which is selfish. Don't the gods usually have time on their hands and they don't care?
I honestly don't know, but this snake is making me nervous. She could eat us without even noticing.
She would have if she wanted to. We were long enough in the water.
But maybe she's just getting hungry now.
I don't do gods even eat? She's not
god?
a normal snake. She's a god.
I don't know.
As far as I think, Hel is a god, kind of.
Well, the Greek gods ate ambrosia.
I don't know what the northern gods.
You can see that her eyes keep tracking back to the snake, to the serpent, as you so nicely put it. And she's basically looking.
Should we go over and talk to it?
What do you want to say?
Fuck off, I want to say. Or rather, please bring us back, because we are wrong here and we don't belong here. Solve your problems on your own.
She looks at you and she's like, I will be right behind you.
Alice will just stand up, just straighten out her clothing at least a little bit that she has on, and she will be like, this will be cold again, I don't like this. And she will just really stop her way towards the water again.
Make a spot hidden.
Okay. And we need to remember around this your mic cut out again. So we need to have a look at if it's in a recording later on as well. A critical success. 13.
A critical success, okay.
It was just a small dip. You were not completely gone, but it was quiet. For you were quiet just for a little tiny bit. And I'm sorry for rummaging in the background.
Okay.
Just let
So-
I could still hear you, but I would be curious if in the recording it's there as well.
So,
So critical
You-
success.
you notice that your clothes are completely dry.
She's even more annoyed now. The stomping is not getting less.
You
Angry
arrive
Alice
at
is
the
stomping
snake.
over to the snake. And she's like, hey!
The snake opens its large eyes and looks at you.
We need to go back. We are wrong here. We have a job to do. Could you please open the tunnel again? Let us back. And send regards to your sister.
Make a...
Persuasion? Not sure if that would work.
I'm just thinking what would be sense
I can't
motive or
intimidate-
something like that. Make a psychology roll.
Okay, we can do that. Let's see. Oh yes, normal success.
Okay, so you notice a couple of things. Number one, this serpent understands what you're saying.
I suspected so.
You would almost say she's a bit puzzled.
That is fine with me. Can Alice boop the snake with the stick on the nose? Not really hit it, but like boop it. You are not
Ye-
the first god that we meet, and honestly, I'm fed up with this.
Yes, you can. You boop the snake on the nose.
Yep, and then she says exactly what I said. So bring us back. Now, please, thank you. And Alice will be just like, hand on the hips, just like tapping her foot, waiting for, excuse me.
What's your luck?
God, it's a 60.
Okay, so you 20 is 1/3. So you're basically it's a hard success.
So I'm not eaten alive, yay.
No, you're not eaten alive, but you see two shadows overhead.
You mean in the sky?
Mm-hmm. They're circling ever closer, spiraling downwards.
Looking up, do we see what it is?
It's two birds,
What
large
kind?
black birds.
Crow, raven kind of thingy?
More like ravens because they're bigger and they land.
She will turn around to the snake again, but I think her hand would look for Dottie's hand.
You can grab Dottie's hand. She's like, let me guess.
There's only 3 children. I have no... If it's those 2, and they're coming again with this sister, I will pull every single feather out. She will look at the snake again. She will try to ignore the crows, just like, excuse me, could you please answer?
The snake looks even more puzzled. The ravens sit in front of you now. They are actually bigger than normal ravens. And normal ravens are big. And they basically look at you, as ravens do, out of their beady black eyes. And
You
one of the-
heard what I said. I am tempted to pull out every single feather of you guys if we are not returned immediately. And she's looking back and forth between serpent. I know you understand me, looking at the serpent, just like tapping it again.
The serpent blinks.
I'm not scared of you deity god thingies.
One of the ravens opens its beak.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, I didn't think it was going to be like this.
The voice, does it sound familiar?
How many ravens do you know?
So it's a croaking raven kind of speaking.
It sounds like you would imagine a raven that is not imitating a human would sound.
Well, join the club. We were thinking about investigating a cave in the jungle, taking pictures and doing what we do there. Why on earth are we here?
The two ravens look at each other and then they look at you. And then one of them, they croak to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one turns back to you and says, I'm not sure if this is the prophet we're looking for.
We are not prophets. We are private investigators from New York City, and I'm not scared of all of this crapness.
He walks past you and pecks Dottie in the chin, on the chin, and looks up at her.
And no, she's not staying here. She's leaving with me.
But she's our prophet. She's the prophet we've been looking for. I don't know who you are.
I'm the one that is highly annoyed about all of this happening.
The other raven comes to you and says, are you always this highly strung?
Alice is weighing her I already wanted to say quarterstaff, so you have idea what she has her walking cane, and she's just like, if I swing really correctly, would it hurt them? Would they fly?
Are you saying this loud?
No, but
okay.
she's not saying, but she's eyeing, like she's measuring something, and she's just like looking at the cane in between. She's not really hiding her idea. She's not saying it, and she's also with the other hand not letting go of Dottie. We were on vacation for a reason, to get away of this madness.
Okay, so the point is, you're asking yourself, would it hurt? Yes.
Yes. She's tempted, but not yet there yet to do something. At the moment they're talking, so... Can we please just go back, live our life, find someone else? There are millions, billions of people on Earth. Why always us two? And she will look
Because
at Dottie.
it is you. It has always been you.
We did not ask for this. We just want to have a peaceful life.
As does everyone.
Can you not mix it up? Everybody has to suffer a little instead of one pair of people have to suffer all their life in a very freakish way. Gods.
The two ravens look at each other and if these were humans and these were human eyes, you would say you've hardly ever seen as much desperation and pain.
Alice would look over to Dottie because Alice is here just more or less because she's followed Dottie. Alice knows and learned from the ravens that she's not the one. She will look at Dottie. It's your decision. They want you, not me. You took over the job. And she will just squeeze Dottie's hand. She will not let go.
She has to do a power check now. 56. It's okay. It didn't say anything about meeting large snakes.
Or talking ravens.
This was not a vision. This isn't a vision because this is not something that I'm seeing. I'm actually experiencing it.
Yeah, and it's kind of freezing cold, so it's really rude to pull someone out of the warm jungle and drop them in the middle of snow.
The ravens both of them take a deep breath, they exhale, and they take flight, and they leave.
I hope they come back with a winter coat for us.
The snake looks at you.
You're not a talkative kind, are you?
Tilts her head and says, "No one to talk to."
Your siblings are not visiting you.
One is bound in hell, and the other one is bound somewhere else. I have not seen them since the day I was cast in here.
Well, your sister's doing quite okay, I can tell you. At least she looked okay. Sounded okay.
It's good to know.
Brother, we only dreamt kind of. So why are we here?
I don't know, but
Someone...
I'm wondering why I am here. I should
You-
be dead by now and being reborn.
Didn't you bring us here?
I did not.
So who did? Who could? And she will look back in the sky where the ravens left, and she's still probably more whispering, like, I hope you come back with a nice comfy coat and warm boots.
The
Scarf
snake
might be good.
moves its huge head towards you. You are human.
We both are. Surprise.
Then the only way you could have gone here is by crossing the bridge.
We swam through a tunnel of water.
Well, close enough. Did you meet a tall man in a funny hat?
No, you were the first thing I've seen after the tunnel.
So maybe he's not guarding the bridge. Everything is going wrong. I should be dead. My brother should have swallowed the sun.
Is
He
this
has
happening regularly? We read the story.
Of course, it is my fate. The ravens should not be here. They should be dead.
Well,
About
obviously-
to be reborn.
For what? We know that something is not right in regards to gods.
I
The
do
three
not know.
sisters are not together. One is missing.
One is missing. Why is she missing?
Nobody knows. We only
Yep.
know she's missing somewhere where it's very cold, snowy.
And you have
rain?
seen my sister?
Yeah, a little while ago.
What did she say to you?
That is a very good question. I'm quite sure Alice knows. Player has no freaking idea, and she would need to look through her notes to find it. Which brings me again, guys, also to everyone out there. If you take notes, try to mark them in some way, because I just have text without any marking. The other option is we do a 5-minute tea break and I just can go through my notes and find it.
Well, I think it might be nice for the viewers to also know what she did say without having to go back over all of the, because it was quite a long time ago. It was
It's quite a
before
long time
brushstrokes.
ago. Yeah, that's why I'm
basically-
probably...
What the conversation you had with her was in the context of Dottie having lost faith,
Yes.
and you basically asked Ultha to tell Dottie's god to make an appearance and tell her that everything is fine, that he exists and that she is important to him, and so on and so forth. But instead,
Yep.
Hel showed up, and
Yep.
Hel explained to you that there are many gods and that they all coexist, but that they are not what one might think, almighty and the creators of anything, but that they have been created by mankind. All of them, every single one of them. And that essentially her fate has been written by you guys, by humanity, and that every so often in a cyclical fashion, the gods will go down, there will be this conflagration, and then they will be reborn, and then the whole cycle will start again. And then and she gave you this rune
stick.
stuff, the rune
The stick.
yeah. It's a rune
I just found
stuff.
I just found the page. I did not write much there, except split face, black, pale flesh. She's Hel from the underworld. She's
Yeah.
giving a stick with runes. That's how I wrote it down.
It's a rune staff, but okay.
And make Dottie believe. And the rest, I don't wanna... I can even curse in writing.
Oh, good.
And that's all I've written down.
Okay, but essentially you took this staff to this person in the British Museum who specializes in ancient Norse and Old Norse,
Yep.
and he read it to you, and it is the most obscure 2 lines from the Prose Edda, where it basically says that after everything is done and dusted and all of the gods have died, they wake up again in the fields, in the green fields, and go to find the tables of gold that they had been using in the past. And nobody really knows what those tablets are, what they are. And he says that there are some that say, well, this was written on the cusp of Christianity, so it could be construed to be the 10 Commandments or something like that, but it's unclear. But it's this idea of welcoming a new age, and in this new age the killed Balder will come again and rise and will bring forth love and peace. Um,
And Dottie kept the stick. I will still call it
yeah,
stick.
she does. She did keep the rune staff, yes.
I think Alice would just... Your sister gave me a stick. And she will just look at Dottie.
Big puzzlement on the snake's face. She gave you a stick.
Do you still have... Well, you don't have it with you, I suspect. But you didn't throw it out, did you?
No, but I left it in New York.
Yeah, I understand why. It has runes. I know it's not a stick. Well, kind of stick, but with runes on it.
A rune staff.
Something about Baldur making the world nice again?
But for this he needs to rise, and my sister needs to let him go. No one has ever left hell, except in this case, but everyone would have to cry.
Every human or every god?
Everyone, every stone, every human, every giant, every dwarf, every god, every animal, every plant, everything, and everyone under the sun.
So there must be another way.
Verdandi makes them cry. Verdandi is the Norn that governs the waters. She feeds every ocean, every lake, and every river.
She's the one that is
ever
missing,
flowed.
right? Well, she can't. She's not there. She's missing.
Then you have to find her, or someone.
Wouldn't it be easier to find your sister and talk to her that she needs to let him go?
I don't have stats for her. Let's see how pragmatic she is. On an 84,
Not
she
pragmatic.
takes exception to the mere thought that you would alter the course of the universe.
Well, for Alice still, this is a very absurd idea that everything is programmed and you just have to follow if you want it or not. That's something like...
But that's the way it is.
Not for Alice.
She cannot do that. It is not how the universe was built by you.
We humans did not build
You
a
did.
fix. We build an idea of gods, but
You wrote it all down.
But it's changing with every generation. Have you seen
It does
all the new
not.
books?
We do not change. We cannot change. We are eternal and immutable.
But
You
you need
built
to
us so.
change and adapt because we humans change and adapt on a daily basis.
Obviously, you notice that this is a concept
This
that
is a
this thing
concept.
cannot grasp.
I think there is the biggest misunderstanding between you deities and us humans. A lot of us don't even... Your stories. A lot of people don't even believe in the stories. It's just another book written.
She looks at the sky, at the sun.
Alice is like, who's the manager here? Who do we need to talk to?
Do you say this out loud?
No. She's.
No.
I think she's thinking about it, but it's like it will not help with anything. You God should think about maybe not take everything written in stone-ish by us humans who are not even alive for a long time. Whoever wrote the story is not there anymore. Since centuries.
Again,
But I know it's not your thing to again looking at Dottie.
she looks Dottie looks at this serpent transfixed, and then the serpent sighs. It's a heart-wrenching sound, and out of the depths of this huge body come the words, "I just want to die."
Alice would carefully just pat her head. You know that dying is not the solution for everything, yes?
I have been alive for thousands of years. It is my time. It should happen now.
She will look at Dottie. I still have no idea how we should help with this.
Dottie takes your hand and she says, "Why don't we just get some rest? Go back to the fire and just wait."
And leave that poor thing alone. She will pat the snake again.
The snake Snakes don't necessarily have the most expressive faces,
No.
at least not to us. But you can see that the snake is blinks very slowly, and you would say it's nodding its head, which with a head this size is more like a heaving. And then she closes her eyes and you see her breathe really evenly. The problem with this is whenever she breathes in, the waters rise, and she breathes out and the waters recede because this huge body is taking in, she has lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dottie takes you by the hand and she leads you back and she says, and now...
Before we leave, Alice would just, with her other hand on the snake, she would just be, we will not forget you. We will come back.
And the two of you go back to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you
now
would
it's
say
more
that...
Dottie pulling Alice.
Okay, she's pulling you towards the fire, and the fire is burning ever so brightly. And it's giving off this whole warmth. And the two of you, Dottie sits down, she pulls you down, she says, I think we just need to take a break and rest.
Alice would just look upstairs and would just in a normal voice say, blankets would be really nice.
Make a power check.
God. Well, we will... When we're done with Alice, every single kind of deity will have heard of her and is annoyed by her. Normal success.
You're not cold.
But it's still not comfy.
It's not uncomfortable. You're missing your salon and you're missing the fireplace.
It's forest floor. Excuse me.
It could be better.
Yeah.
Yes. But given the circumstances, this is probably as good as it's going to get.
they brought us here and they should take care of us.
Do you try and close your eyes?
No. She would probably grab a stick with her little knife that she has in her pocket and just try to keep herself busy.
So
just flicking the little pieces of wood into the fire.
So you're whittling basically you're making steaks. And the next thing that comes around the corner will be staked.
I don't think she's, at least not intentionally, making a steak. It's more keeping her brain and hands busy.
Then make a con check, please, for me.
She falls over face first into the fire because, oh god, that's a 98. It's not good.
You do not fall face first into the fire, but you do fall asleep.
Okay.
After a while. You notice
She's
that your eyes start...
herself.
Yes, and that's the end.
End of Alice Baker.
Yeah, and then I'm going to do a one-on-one with myself, with Dottie, to bring this whole story to
I will be listening
Yeah.
in. No.
Anyway, so basically you do fall asleep after a while. And you dream.
Oh god. Mm-hmm.
And in your dream, you see something really strange. You see something that looks... you see the inside of a hotel. It's definitely a hotel. If you've ever seen Twin Peaks, they have this huge hotel there. It's like logging country, so it looks a little bit like a log cabin, but huge, with everything, like, you know, the antlers and all of the stuff, like your cliche Washington State hotel. And you see a woman. It's clearly a woman, although she's veiled, sitting in some kind of hunting room, you know, like how they've got these differently themed rooms where the guests can congregate. She's sitting there by the fireplace, and in front of her kneels a huge man, very, very big, burly, well built. He only has one hand. You can see that clearly. The other one is just basically a stump. He didn't even bother to get a fake hand, which of course at that stage already existed. He doesn't have that. And he just says, "Milady, we will find him and bring him back." And he gets up, and you can... the woman is sitting there. She is... she's quite tall, willowy. You can see her hands. These are the hands of an older person.
Okay, so it's not yelling hail, basically, at me.
No. And the door opens, and in walks a very distinguished gentleman. You would say a really elegant man, tall, gaunt, doesn't look like the young man at all. The like, you know, this young man is like a muscular, he looks like a National Football League athlete type. This man is as tall as him, but of a completely different build. He's got ice grey hair and a beard, a very well-kept beard, and he's wearing an eye patch.
Alice is Alice... Oof, that's a good question. Are you aware that you're dreaming when you're dreaming?
I don't know.
It's for Alice, it's like switching the TV channel, please. I don't want to see more gods, especially not these ones. Because
And
we
you
are
wa-
getting higher in ranks here.
And he walks in, and the young man stands up and walks towards him, and they share a very tender moment where they come very close, and then the young man basically seems to shrink, like not literally, but he seems to be folding in on himself and places his head against the chest of the older man. And you just hear the older man say, "I know." And then the young man breathes in, straightens up, and nods, and then walks out. And the older man goes to that woman who's sitting there. He stretches out her hand and he says, "Milady," and she takes his hand. He helps her up, and the two of them very elegantly, in a very almost processional way of walking, leave the room, and the dream ends. That doesn't mean you necessarily wake up. It just means that you're not dreaming anymore.
Well, I'm still... Well, I suspect who the woman might be, although I'm not 100% sure. The other two, at least I know who they should be. I'm not sure. Alice should have a rough idea as well, since we read through, especially the one with the eye patch for sure.
Yes, you've definitely identified him.
Odin is, if you don't know Odin, you haven't read Northern mythology.
And he's the one with the one eye, because he gave his other one to gain knowledge.
Did we read up on Hel and Fenrir and so on? Because then we would have stumbled over Tyr as well. Because if I remember correctly, he lost his hand to Fenrir, didn't he?
Correct. So
okay. So the other question is the veiled woman, if it's Frigg or Freya, however you want to call it.
And I never know, because I have a feeling that she has both names.
I've seen both names. So if anyone is around and is fit in Northern mythology and can tell us in the comments why there's Frigg as well as Freya around for Odin's wife, I would be
And in this
curious.
case, of course, player knowledge equals character knowledge. Yes, you know all of this. Alice knows all of this. So yes, this is what you've seen. Except,
well, the veiled woman is the question if it was Frigg, Freya, or someone else, because I've never seen her face 100%. But
I mean, the point is there aren't actually that many female gods in northern mythology that we know and that are really talked about. I mean, there is the Lady Sif, who is married to Loki.
Yeah,
but she basically just appears once. I mean, it's like, she's not important, but she is.
And the old lady did not make the impression of one of our sisters, right? Okay. Yeah, then at least Alice would suspect that it's... I will say Freya, because I know Frigg, but I'm more used to saying Freya and Odin.
Yeah, so it's Freya and Odin and...
The gamer and movie kid in me is just stuck with that.
And the thing is, of course, they were dressed like in the 1930s, like upper crust, East Coast, something or other, in a really high-end kind of hunting type lodge hotel. That's what this looks like. And also the young man was impeccably dressed. I mean, in all fairness, his dress could hardly contain his muscles, but that was a tailored suit. So they were all well turned out. They looked very very well turned out and groomed.
Well, Alice will sleep.
At some point you wake up.
Two things to look. Are we still at a fire, and is Dottie there? I think vice versa. Dottie is first priority.
Dottie is there, and she's
are we?
sleeping deeply. And you are in front of a fire. But you have been given blankets, and there is food and water.
She'll have a look around if they are alone or someone showed up.
Then make a spot hidden.
That is a fail. And too far away to give out luck, because it's an 86. That's
Oh. You see
too far
nothing.
away.
There is no one here. You're totally alone.
She will get up without making too much noise, not to wake Dottie, and are the blankets just next to us, or has someone covered us?
You've been covered.
Okay. She will drag the blanket with her, but she will sit down next to the food and will take a little bit, and she will just look up and be like, "Thank you." In a low voice, not as loud as I was, but more in a whisper, again, not to wake Dottie, and she would sit and eat.
You're
a
very
little bit.
welcome, but why do you keep looking at the sky?
Hectically turning around and see where the voice is coming from.
Okay, make a spot hidden. To see if you can tell where it comes from. Or navigate if you've got that.
A spot hidden is definitely always a better way. I have navigate. No, I only have the basic 10 on that. It's not. Well, if I roll the right dice, that would help. It's still happening. Well, it will happen. I will give out luck. It's a normal success.
You can tell where it's coming from. You look there, but there is nothing there. Then you hear a voice. You idiot! You have to take off the stealth cap! And then you see a hand reach out from behind a bush and place itself on nothing, and then making a grabbing motion and then pulling something up, and in front of you you see coming into view something that looks a lot like a garden gnome. And behind it steps forward another garden gnome. You idiot! How is she supposed to see you when you're wearing this? Oh, I was still wearing that? How is that possible? I'm ashamed to say that you're my brother, but you're definitely the dimwit of the family.
Mistake that can happen. Did you bring us the food and the blanket? And shh, we don't want to wake her.
The prophet. Shh. Yes, of course we did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will pass it on to, what did you call him in your head? The manager? And the two of them look at each other and basically laugh. Ha ha.
The question is, who is the manager here?
They look at each other completely puzzled. How do you mean? Of course it's the All-Father.
She's just thinking about the one-eyed man vision she had in her dream, because I suspect she remembers the dream. If not, it wouldn't make...
Yeah, you do.
Well,
Can you hear explosions?
yes.
Okay.
It's Friday.
Okay.
It's
Of
Winterdome in Hamburg. It's fireworks. So we have
Okay.
war outside.
Yes, and because it really sounds like, you know.
Yeah, it really sounds like
Yeah.
war. It's quite
Because you
close
don't
by
see
for us.
anything, you just hear it. Yeah.
I can see, if I step on the balcony, I can even see it. And
okay.
I think you, depending on the, you would need to look around the corner, I think. So if there's firework in the background, guys, and you can hear it, we are sorry, we can't change it. It will stop in a few minutes. Alice will just look at the two gnomes, be like, I'm Alice. Who are you?
The two of them look at each other. Balin and Dwalin. And yes, these are the names of Eden gnomes. That's where Tolkien took them from. Just for
I'm
everybody
just like,
else.
The Hobbit? What? We are changing story again. That's dwarven. And honestly, Lord of the Rings, when was it written?
1953 it was published.
No, then Alice doesn't know that.
You are a contemporary of his, though. Alice is a contemporary, so Tolkien would have been teaching while you were...
Yeah, but
it's
that
not been
story
written yet. No,
is...
it's not,
like,
well, it's been written, but it's not been published.
It's been published, so she doesn't...
No, I lie.
Oh, The Hobbit is all...
The Hobbit is out because it was published... The Hobbit is out. I think The Hobbit is out.
Let me just. I'm also curious, and I'm sorry
It was
for
definitely
the viewers
published
because we
in-
both are nerds in that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It was definitely published in the 30s.
1937 it was published.
Okay, so you're still, it's not quite there yet. because
Not
we're
there yet.
1934.
Okay,
Yeah, okay, but yeah.
But
when you read it in 3 years' time, you will notice the names.
I will notice the names. You want to sit by the fire with us and have a little bit of the food?
The two of them look at each other. Sure. And they sit down and they come a little closer, huddle up with each other, not with you. They don't come that close.
Push over a little bit of the food if they want to. It's much nicer at the fire than outside there.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is really true. It's a little bit cold. But then again, we're dwarves.
Dwarfs. Alice is like, no garden gnomes. In her mind, like, okay, God. Do you really think she's the prophet? Just looking over at Dottie.
Well, it's not my. I'm not being paid to think by management. We were told she's the prophet. I mean, she's definitely better looking than the last one.
Who was the last prophet? Also human, I suspect.
They're always human.
Huh.
It was a man. A lot older. I was sometimes afraid that he might just up and die. He didn't.
Did he have a name?
What was it again? I forget. It was a very long time ago. So, you finally come. We're so happy to see you.
Well, we didn't plan on coming. Someone dragged us here without telling us.
Who?
I don't know. A few hours ago, we were in a cave in the jungle. Back where... Well, I suspect we are not on Earth here, are we?
You're in Asgard.
So a few hours ago, we were on Earth in Mexico, in the middle of a jungle, in a cave with water. And we were pulled out there through the water, through a tunnel, and came out here.
Did you meet a guy in a funny hat?
The snake already asked that. We did not meet Heimdall. It would have been
Where
very
is
nice. Maybe he's also missing in action. It seems to be a thing.
Should I go and check?
If you check, can you maybe ask who gave him the order to open the, do you call it bridge to send us
It's
through?
Bifrost. It's a bridge, yes. It's a rainbow bridge.
Oh, I've seen rainbow colors in the water, but...
There you are. Water is like ice. Well, it is ice. Well, ice is water, strictly speaking. It's the other way around.
Would still be curious who brought us here.
Well, then I shall go and inquire.
Thank
And
you.
one of them, you can't really tell them apart because they look identical, vanishes. He's such a show-off. He could also have just walked away, but no.
It's kind of impressive.
Is it?
For normal humans like me, yes.
I guess.
So you have stealthy hats that make you invisible. And stealthy, I suspect.
Well, I'm stealthy. He's the dimwit. I mean, he walks into things, so no.
So he's just invisible if he wears it. It's good that he has you by your side.
Don't tell him this, but I really love him. I mean, he's my younger brother.
Family.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's always a mix between you love them, but you want to smack them at the back of the head.
Yes, I sometimes do. But nobody hits my brother except me.
I sadly don't have siblings. It would have been nice to have someone to smack, because I can't smack my parents, although I would love to sometimes.
You could smack her.
She's just looking over. I think she has more reason to smack me on a regular basis.
You also have a stealth cap and walk into things?
Well, I have a... And she will just pick up the cane and just tap her leg. Well, stealth is not my strong suit anymore after the accident, but let's say I'm very good at making situation worse than they should be, because I can't keep my mouth shut.
You are unlucky.
No, I just have a very big mouth and just say what I think.
Oh.
Also, unlucky is probably also quite right when I think about all that happened in the last years. The only lucky thing I have is she's pointing to Dottie. Sir. She's chosen family.
Best part.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Lots of people here have very big mouths. Gods,
Then it's...
giants, what can I tell you? All those immortals.
No. Well, I'm very good at annoying them and surprising them, because I'm not scared of them.
Well, I've only heard good things of you. Nobody seems to be annoyed with you. Except, I mean, the two ravens, they were close to giving up. So he sent us.
Well, I threatened to pull every single feather out of them.
You didn't, did you?
Well, they came in at the bad time. So who are the ravens? Because the
Oh.
snake said they shouldn't be here even.
Well, they are Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin. Thought and memory.
I didn't think about that.
They were looking for you. He sent them. He felt that he sensed you. And he said, go and find them and bring her to me and them. And basically they came back empty-winged? Probably empty-winged. And they were like,
Clawed.
yes. They were very disconcerted.
Well, we didn't give them much chance.
You see, the thing is, they are used to people actually knowing who they are and treating them accordingly, and also following their direction, because they speak for the All-Father.
I
think-
did not make the connection to him, even though I read about it. But as I said, we are here by surprise. I would lie if I would say I don't know why. I have some suspicions why. But we've never been here and we don't know much about this place. Just the few things we know from stories that are told. Or more written down, to be honest, not so much told.
Well, you've come at a bad time. Everything is a little bit out of kilter. Usually it's very nice here.
Gods are missing, important ones as it seems, and they have the weird idea that she is the solution to the problem.
Well, I suppose the idea is that she will go and help together with you find Verdandi. She needs to cry.
We are mere humans. When gods can't fix it, how should we?
He looks at you and you can tell he is completely nonplussed. What do you mean, mere humans?
We are normal humans.
Do you not know that we all want to be like you?
What? You know that all humans, not all, but a lot, are striving and would probably kill to be godlike. You were always the goal. That's why the stories were created. The goal for humans. Something they could never reach.
Oh, my dear. It seems like it's all topsy-turvy in your heads.
Well, it's...
We are nothing compared to you. And he points towards you and says, you contain the spark of creation. We are nothing compared to you.
Well, then...
You came up with all of this and made it into flesh.
Well, our ancestors did.
That doesn't matter. You could do the same thing. You could think up a whole world and make it real. Maybe you already have.
I hope.
Where do you go in your dreams?
Sadly, to places where gods are and annoy me. My last dream was watching Odin and Tyr, I think talking to Freya, question mark?
They are looking for their son.
Which son? They have
Balder.
quite a... Well, he's with Hel.
They're trying to find a way to get him back because it's not working. It should be working. He should be free by now. This should all have gone up in flames and be reborn.
If no one is crying, he can't get out. At least that's
Yes,
so
and why
far
is no one
understood.
crying? Have you
Because
not
she's
noticed that?
Because
Indeed.
she's missing.
But they cannot find her. They cannot see her. It is you who can find her. It is you who can see her.
Well,
They are
we
just
can't.
gods. Have you even tried?
Well, she's seen snow and ice.
Well, then, in that case, you have to take her hand and lead her there. She's the prophet. You're the guide. Do I have to spell everything out for you?
I'm not a... What? Alice is just like, guide? I'm more the stopping stone.
All right, so this is way above my pay grade. I mean, it's all right that you didn't follow the ravens because, granted, you know...
I have
I
to
was
say,
told you
you are
knew.
much, much nicer to talk to.
But I thought you knew.
We don't.
Oh, I hope he comes back and has spoken to management. I hope he's managed to get a hold of him. Because I'm out of my depth.
Well, you already gave me a lot of more information that anyone else has. So thank you for that. It makes at least a little more sense. And usually she is the guidance. So it's weird for me to have it vice versa. But
This
we'll
is
be
never
fine.
easy.
Well, we survived.
Maybe they should have
a lot.
sent a giant. I just feel like I'm too small for this.
Honestly, a giant would bring us both in shock, running away or trying to kill it. I don't think a giant would
Why?
have
They
been
are
good.
they are good sports. They like playing cards. Do you play cards?
Well, yes, I play cards, also dice. You know that giants in our stories are horrific, terrifying, dangerous things that eat people and children.
That's weird.
That's the stories we got from our ancestors.
The ones that I know only eat boar. I mean, one giant might eat 2 or 3 of them in one go, but they don't eat humans, and especially not children. They cherish them.
Over the years, the stories changed about them, as it seems.
They are great builders.
Also stories, at least in my part of the world, we never heard.
We are the smiths.
That I know. The
They work
dwarves,
in stones.
as far as I know, well, in our stories, dwarves are good in any kind of handiwork with stone, with metal.
Oh no, we're strictly metal. They are the stone people. It's because they can lift them easily.
That makes sense. It's interesting to see how story changed over the centuries.
Do you want me to call one of them?
No, thank you. let's just let her sleep. If a giant comes in, I highly suspect he's not as stealthy as you guys, and she will freak out.
No, not quite.
Let's not scare her. Just let her sleep.
All right.
And Alice is just sitting there, eating a little bit and just staring in the direction where. Oh no, she's probably more looking around to see if the other dwarf is showing back up. Is it just you two?
Oh no, there's plenty.
I suspected so.
There are whole families, but it's. I mean, if there are thousands of us, but I doubt that you would have wanted to meet thousands of us in one go.
No, that's a lot. You're living in Asgard.
No, we have our own world.
But you can travel here.
Of course. I mean, there is Jotunheim. That is where the giants live, and then there is Niflheim. That's where we live.
The different worlds. Alice is just probably just like in thoughts, just trying to repeat what kind of information she can recall, because it has been a little bit. Well, the question is why we are here. Does anyone suspect, since we know there's ice and snow around, that the missing god is here?
You saw ice and snow?
Yes. Which could be anywhere, because I suspect also in your place there's snow and ice in some areas.
Oh no.
Okay.
There is only one place where there is ice and snow. It's in the very far north. But why would anyone want to go there? It's very cold. I mean, yes, one could argue that this is cold, but that's because it's winter. This will become green in spring, but
the other place stays icy cold.
Yes.
Honestly, I have more still the question: who on? I will say Earth, not Earth. Who in this galaxy of worlds would be able to grab her and keep her locked away?
Well, I thought that this was something you would be able to tell us.
As I said,
are you not? You said you were a private investigator. The way I understand it is you find things.
Yeah, but in our world, the mightiest beings are the gods.
Well, then maybe you're looking for a god.
Great.
I can tell you it wasn't me.
I was quite sure of that. You are much too nice for that. And much too
beams
clever
at you
to lock away a god. I also highly suspect it was not the snake, because she wants all of this to end.
Also, she doesn't really leave. Even the fact that she's up now is very strange. I don't think I've seen her in the last 2,000 years or so. She's usually at the bottom of the sea.
She must be very lonely.
I guess. I mean, she can't see her brother because he's tied up. And the other one is tied to hell. I mean, yes, in theory she can travel, and in practice she does, but,
well,
you know.
She talked to me, so yes, she's traveling. Also
you spoke to hell?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's been a while. Well, I didn't want to talk to her. I actually wanted
Most people
to
don't.
talk to Ulthar. But she sent hail, which is weird enough. Does he make the impression that he knows the name Ulthar because it's not Nordic?
No, he looks very puzzled.
Well, Ulthar is more than just a god. Well, did all of this start? Alice is like, this triggered or started everything, even though during that time Alice was not aware of it. The freaking stick. Also, Alice, it's just nonsense for the poor dwarf. Just like, why did I even try to ask for help from gods? Or not even gods, higher beings.
You would be surprised. It happens all the time that people ask for help from the gods. And the gods are always very lost for words because there isn't really very much they can do.
Well,
It's more like you think they can.
As I said, in our world, the gods are the highest and most powerful beings.
Well, they are high and powerful, but not all powerful. They are bound by what your brains have conceived. Have you ever read the Bible? I hear it's a great book.
It's overrated.
But you see, there are stories in there, right? Like, there is this guy that basically once had wings and then fell and is now all evil and stuff.
And other stories of people.
But you see,
splitting
what
the
I'm trying to get at is, of course, he exists because you wrote it. Not you personally, all right, but still.
Alice has problems processing that idea because it's so weird in her brain. You know, these are stories that were written centuries ago from people that have no idea how life is nowadays.
So?
The stories are just old stories.
But that doesn't make them less real.
But nobody really believes in the stories to be... Well, there's people believing in the stories to be real, but not... Well, few. Thinking of the Bible, it's quite a few.
He puts a hand on your leg and he says, well, in a very modest way, and he says, but I think that is your problem. Just because it was old doesn't mean it doesn't exist anymore. You made it happen. You willed it so. And we are bound to that will.
Our ancestors really messed it up in a big way because they absolutely did not think about that humans change dramatically over time. And the old stories are old stories and myths that get lost over the years and centuries. You should be able to
They look
adapt
really
with
real
us.
to me.
Well, it feels real here, I have to say. But the percentage of humans who believe that this is real is like very low, let's say it
But
frankly.
that doesn't matter. They don't need to believe. It is real for us.
More shocking for us humans who don't believe it's real. Or grew up with the belief that all of these are stories.
Well, but I mean, we don't really talk to humans. The reason why you are here is because there is something greatly amiss.
Well, you're not the first deities talking to me.
Well, maybe you're special.
Thank you, no thank you. I'm still trying to get into the heads of the deities that they should leave me just alone. But hey, at least this time it's Dottie, not me. Alice is finding a little bit of relief in that.
On a 0-8, Dottie wakes up slowly.
Okay. Hey, sleepyhead, don't be scared. We have a visitor.
She gets up, she sits up and she realizes she's covered in a blanket. She's like, what blanket?
They brought
A
us
garden
food.
gnome.
No, it's a dwarf. Don't be rude. I'm sorry. Are you Balin or Dwalin? I'm not. It was so. You look quite similar.
I'm Balin.
His brother is running off. He will be back, hopefully, with information in a little bit. They brought us food and blankets.
She looks at the
And
dwarf.
something to drink, obviously, as well. I don't think they only brought food.
No. There's plenty of Thank you, I guess. And then she turns to you and just says, What is this? Like, he's a dwarf? Like, what?
They were sent to bring us food and blankets since I did not cooperate well with the ravens.
Oh, so that was a first try at communication and that didn't work, so they sent a dwarf?
Just wake up slowly, maybe have a drink and some food, and then I can feel a little bit of things I'm not sure you want to hear.
Things I don't want to hear include the snake has decided to land and is now making its way through the forest, or...
The snake is not a danger to us. You don't have to worry about her.
That's good.
You can
That's
feel
good.
sorry and sad for her being centuries alone, all alone.
I do. But I feel it's easier for me to feel sorry for her when she's not standing right next to me.
She's not.
She starts eating, and she eats a lot actually. She's hungry and she drinks, and then she says, so I'm ready to listen. What news?
Hey, we're in Asgard.
Aha. And how did we manage that? Do I even want to know?
I don't know, someone opened the bridge, which could be also water. I've definitely seen rainbow colors in the water swimming through
Great.
the tunnel.
But shouldn't there have been a guard that would have kept us out?
That's where his brother's going to talk to Heimdall to ask, because Heimdall must have opened the way.
He's probably drunk on the job.
I only know he wears a funny hat. Also based on the stories we read on the northern gods. The ravens were sent by Odin, as are the dwarfs. And I dreamt of Odin, Freya, and Tyr. They are trying to find a way to get Balder. Because the normal way is not working, because she is missing. Which is our job to find her. It circles back always to the topic that we mere humans need to help the gods because they can't help themselves. Which is a very bizarre idea.
Balin gets up. He walks in front of you, stands in front of you. Even like standing up, he just, you're sitting down, so he just basically reaches eye line. Will you stop calling yourselves mere humans? You are not mere humans, you are humans. I'm a mere dwarf. Odin is a mere god, and he would sign that in blood. You are humans. You are not mere.
That's your vision of the things, not our visions.
He goes over to Dottie and he says, is she always like this? She doesn't accept any truths that don't meet her expectations, does she? Dottie keeps her counsel and keeps eating, but the two of them exchange glances, you notice.
In this world, the humans are the mighty powerful things. Because we created all of this, and we basically made the mess that this has to happen over and over and over and over and cannot be changed. Well, not us, but, our ancestors of ancestors of ancestors.
Well, then maybe it is our job to make things right.
But it's gods. If they can't solve it, or find her,
then maybe you and I have to.
Alice will just take another bite of whatever she has in her hand. She hasn't eaten much, but a little bit.
At that moment, Dwalin makes an appearance. You hear him first because he walks into a tree. Oh, hello, Ivy. And
Alice will give a little smile, or wink probably more, to Balin.
Balin looks at the sky, then Dwalin takes off his cap.
What a surprise. Welcome back. Dottie, that is Dwalin, Balin's brother. Stealthy one.
Does she catch on? On a 0-6, she totally gets. He appeared out of nowhere. I was very shocked. I didn't see that coming. It is nice to make your acquaintance, Dwalin. Dwalin is chuffed. He gives a triumphant look to his brother. I have come bearing news. So, the news is nobody knows where Odin is, but his ravens have told me that you should just go that way and you will find him. He will have information for you. Also, I should tell you, don't be a doubter.
So Odin sent for us.
I didn't say that.
What did Heimdall say?
He's like, I'm not going to guard a bridge to a land that is doomed. He's sometimes a bit dramatic.
Well, Earth is drying out slowly. So, in your measurement of time, he's probably not wrong. Although, did you tell him that's a little bit... I don't know. He's bad on his job because it's still a gateway and you don't want to have humans just trample around in Asgard uninvited? I know it's not your place. Ignore that.
He's not the kind of person to have such a debate with. He's kind of foreboding. Have you seen him?
I haven't. I would have loved, and I would have told him off to just leave a bridge to Earth.
He basically looks at you and says, if you run into him, you will notice him immediately. He wears a funny hat and he's got a huge sword. So maybe you tell him yourself.
Well, one day maybe. Well, we need to go back one day, so probably through his... Then he will have to work and open a way to Earth. I'm not sorry to bother him with that. So this direction, Alice is just pointing in where Dwalin was pointing. Just walk.
Yes.
Is it still nighttime?
No, it's now daylight.
Okay. And the woods are safe, so nothing will attack us and eat us.
No. Why? What would you expect?
Wolves, bears.
Of course there are wolves and bears, but why would they eat you?
Because they do in our world. We are food. We are on the food chain, not on the, well, partly in the highest rank, but not really. Bear and wolf can kill us and they will eat us. Because
They don't
we
eat
seem
us
to be
either.
tasty. So we shouldn't give them ideas, I get that.
I have never heard of any wolf or bear eating a human if they ever appear in Asgard. It just doesn't happen.
Then they are much better behaved than the bears and wolves we have. So if you're ever on Earth, be careful.
We'll take that under advisement.
A lot of nature wants to kill and eat humans.
That sucks.
Especially when you're in Australia, I can tell you that.
The two of them look at each other. That must be a human thing. I've never heard of that place.
Yeah, it's a country on Earth where almost everything wants to kill you. That is alive. I'm exaggerating, but based on the books, there's a lot of things that are quite deadly there.
The two of them know. Well, I mean, I will give you one hint. There are mushrooms here.
Don't eat them.
Unless you know what you're doing and you know what you want to be turning into, you might not.
Thank you for that hint. We will just take a little bit of this if it's okay.
Oh, there's more. And he produces a little rucksack, well, not so little, out of nowhere, and says, here's your rucksack. And then he makes the same motion with his hand again, and then another one appears. And that's for the prophet.
Thank you. Alice will open it and have a peek inside.
It's food and drink.
How long do we have to walk that we need food and drinks?
You just said that you wanted to know if there was more. So yes, there is more. I don't know how long it's going to take you.
Well, thank you anyhow for your help.
It's very easy. The next time you are hungry, you just say, I'm hungry. We will come running.
Well, you have your own life.
The two of them look at each other and this does not compute. What?
We have everything we need, thank you. You don't have to worry about us. Just do what you enjoy. Metal working?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we cannot bring you food. These two things are not mutually exclusive. I can do metal work and then go and give you something to eat and then go back to my forge.
Well, thank you a lot, and Alice will just fold up the blanket and hold it out to whoever's standing closer to her.
But do you not want to keep it? It could be cold when you go to sleep next. Of course, we could come by and give you some more blankets, but, you know, the more we spend time with you giving you blankets, the less metal work. You were just saying the same thing.
Alice is just looking at Dottie. So it will be a long walk.
He looks at you and he says, I do not know how long it's going to take you. It's in that direction. And you can see that the dwarf is getting a little bit kind of like, irritated.
Well, Alice will take the blanket and will probably just throw it over her shoulder. Then thank you very much, and with her foot she will make sure that the fire is not burning anymore. Just to put sand or earth or something.
So you're trying to put out the fire.
I'm trying to put out the fire because we lit the fire, and Alice is a good citizen.
This is a dwarven fire. What are you even trying to do?
What we made? You mean we did not make? I'm quite sure I turned on the fire.
Balin, I know that this is difficult for you to accept, but yes, she did build a fire. Technically, she did. Of course, this is not the fire that she built, but she did kind of build a fire. We have to give her credit for that.
Burning. Can you just please make sure that this is not...
Of course, and he waves a hand and the fire goes out.
Thank you.
As if I didn't know that you have to dampen the fire when you leave. I'm a dwarf for Odin's sake.
I just, by mistake, thought that was still my fire, so I felt responsible to...
You feel that he's a little bit kind of like hurt by the fact that you confused a dwarven fire that he built with the fire, the puny fire that you made.
Alice is annoyed as well.
So everybody's annoyed. The only two people who are not annoyed
are the other two.
Dottie just keeps eating.
Oh, we should leave, shouldn't we? Please don't tell me you got another fly.
I can see it. I didn't drink it. This glass is cursed. It's a good thing I've got my bottle.
Take the bottle.
So,
Alice is waiting for Dottie to Get
Dottie
up
gets
and start
up.
moving.
She puts her blanket around her shoulders as well. The two dwarves bow, removing their pointy hats, putting them back on. At your service.
Alice will make just a nod. Thank you for your help and information.
And don't forget, it's in that direction. And then the two of them make motions as if they are putting on caps, and they vanish.
Alice is so tempted to walk in the exact opposite direction.
Well, then, if you are tempted, please
No.
make a power check.
No. I think she would make the motion too and just look at Dottie. Should we mess with them and just... We are stupid humans, aren't we? Just walk in the wrong direction.
She looks at you and she crosses her arms and she says, you know what I think? It doesn't matter which direction we go in. I think we will end up where we need to be.
Then lead the way. You are the prophet. And I will
And
just
you are the
hook
guide.
Where did you did sleep when he said that?
That's what you think.
Also, did you have dreams? And Alice would just hook herself under Dottie's arm and would start walking in the direction that we were pointed to.
I did
Any
dream.
dreams of ice and snow and prison?
How do you know?
I just hope that you at least have sensible dreams, because mine are not helpful.
Well, I wouldn't call it exactly helpful, but that was pretty much it. Yes, I saw a kind of ice prison somewhere and someone being chained in ice. A woman.
Well,
Maybe her.
Probably. I hope she's the only one, that there are not more in prison like that. The question is just where that is.
Unfortunately, the dreams didn't come with coordinates.
Well, the dwarf said that they have a very icy part here that never gets out of winter.
Then we need to go there.
Maybe. Or it's Alaska, for all we know.
Maybe it is. And she
Or
basically,
probably
you've hooked
Farther
yourself
north
under.
even.
She pulls you. Or maybe it's where Father Christmas lives.
If he's real as well, I will not cope well.
she, she takes your hand and she says, there, everything is going. Maybe this is not a good time to tell you about the Easter Bunny.
That is cute. I can live with that.
All right, the Easter Bunny's real. Father Christmas is not.
Good.
Okay?
Yes.
Good. So let's go. And you walk into the forest.
Mm-hmm. And don't touch the mushrooms, remember that.
All right, I'm not touching them. And you walk for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the forest recedes after a while, so you seem to have left it. And before you see grass. This is a meadow, big. There is still some patches of snow, but it's not this. It's not like the snow that you met when you were at the edge of at the water's edge, as it were. You would say this is probably more because you went to school in Maine. And this is what it would look like after a long winter in Maine, let's say March, April, so it's already thawed. There are still patches of snow, and the earth is thick, moist. And the grass is still brown, but it's coming round. So you would say this is March, April in Maine.
So also the air is a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
Or feeling warmer now.
And before you can see a vast expanse of this field or grassland And in the middle of your field of vision, you see a lone tree. And it still doesn't have any leaves. And it's about, you would say maybe, it's difficult to judge, but maybe 500, 800 meters away from you. Mm-hmm. It's on a slight hill and very marked. It's a very interesting looking tree.
Alice will just point in the direction of the tree. If that is him.
You mean he's the tree?
I don't know. Gods are weird.
Well, then let's go and check it out. Please, whatever you do, can you please try and not annoy him? He's a god. And he needs help, so maybe be nice. Consider him a client.
But he's the manager here, just in loose terms. Why on earth is there a serpent suffering? And he will say humans are the ones who make... Yeah. You will just talk, right? I will not talk anymore.
Two of you walk towards the tree. As you approach, you see that there is a man tied to that tree. He's wearing leather trousers, bare-chested. His lips are parched. His skin is frostbitten. He looks completely dehydrated. He's gaunt. He's got rings under his eyes. And he's tied to the tree. And it looks kind of like somebody has put him on a cross. Because simply this is how you would tie yourself to a tree in order to stand up and not fall down. It's easiest if the arms are spread out. But it doesn't look like a crucifixion scene.
Okay. But he has both eyes, I suspect.
No, he only has the one.
Okay.
And his beard isn't groomed well, and his hair is flying in the wind, and it's matted, and his beard is matted. He looks like he hasn't washed in a long time. He looks dirty and worn out.
Do I need
emaciated.
to understand this, Dottie? Why?
Can you do me a favor and roll on occult? Or do you have history?
Let me see. I have occult. I have a little bit. History. I have a tiny bit more. Why is my history? I need to bring my history up.
Okay, then roll on history.
Oh god, I rolled an 89, so no.
You have no idea.
No.
Let's see.
I suspect one-eyed man is Odin question mark?
Well, he does look like the man in your dream, only a lot less well turned out. Mm-hmm. Do you want to say something?
Well, I just talked to Dottie. And after that, I'm not saying anything, because I only make deities angry.
Do you look at him?
Well, I will first of all look at Dottie and see what she does, but yes.
He opens the one eye he has, and he looks at you. It's an eye that is blue like ice.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet and the Guide. I thought you were never going to come.
Just looking over at Dottie, Alice is biting her lip because she wants to say something, but she's very carefully looking over.
Dottie prods you and she says, "Go on. do this. You can do this.
Well, usually I would ask if you need help to get free of the tree, although you should be able to free yourself if you are who I think and dreamt of you are. Although you look much nicer and cleaner when I saw you in my dream.
I can free myself because I put myself up here. I have been here for a year.
Alice is just shaking her head in a very weirded out way.
I have looked far, to the ends of the earth, to the ends of the sky, to the ends of the sea. But my eye does not see. My ear does not hear. I am blind. I cannot help. I cannot heal.
You can't heal yourself.
I cannot heal them. They call me all father, and what a father I am. I cannot end their suffering because I cannot cry. None of us can.
Alice is just like deep breath, in and out. Are you the one who brought us here? Because someone has.
If I had that much power, I would have. But I don't have any power over humans.
I think it would be a little bit of a laugh from Alice. Which you are very mistaken. You have a lot of power over humans. Like all deities have.
He looks to his left and the ties come loose. He looks to his right and the ties come loose. And he just falls down the tree and lands at its roots.
I think Alice would pull her blanket and would just offer. Maybe covered up is a bit better. And we have food if you're hungry.
He accepts the blanket with a really grateful look, and he also says, water as well.
I think the dwarves packed it in, and she will just plonk her bag in front of her feet and will hand over water and some food.
He drinks. That's the main thing. He's drinking water, and he finishes the bottle that you have. And then he looks at you and looks at Dottie and he says, you must save my children.
And then we can return home.
I do not see why you cannot return now.
As I said, we did not decide to come here. Someone sent us here. Quite forceful, I have to say.
I will not keep you. No one can. If you close your eyes and you wish to be home, you will.
Alice is so tempted. She will look at Dottie. Maybe you describe what you've seen. Maybe he has an idea where this is, roughly.
Dottie she kneels down next to him, and she takes water from her bottle as well, and she offers it to him, and he drinks, and he closes his one eye, and if you didn't know he was a god, you would say that this man is going to die in like a couple of seconds. He is almost dead, you know, it's his body is ravaged.
Mm-hmm.
And she describes what she's seen. She basically also takes her blanket and she starts cleaning his face a little, and she describes what she has seen, and he says, the land of eternal snow and ice, north of Asgard, north of our domain. I went there once on a warpath. We closed that gate. And then his head falls back and he says, no, he did not. He wouldn't.
Just who he and who was reigning over that northern part, because they probably are who have the prison Selkie.
They are gone. We killed them all.
Obviously not.
We killed every last one of the frost giants. And then we closed that realm. Only I could enter, or another frost giant.
God, now my Marvel knowledge is mixing because I'm not sure. Is also in normal story Loki partly frost giant? I am not sure. And I'm not sure if Alice would know.
It's a bit, Loki is a bit of an elusive character in real myth because his origins are not necessarily clear, but he is definitely not a son of Odin. And he's the son of a giant, yes. His father's name is Farbauti.
Let's see, father of Loki. Yeah, but that would be Jotunheim.
We do not really need to be that stickly.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
That triggers again that I need to read up more on the little bits and pieces that are very mingled with Marvel now, I have to admit. And I know they took a quite free idea range on the northern mythology part. Well, sir, again, there must be someone you missed. Maybe someone hid. The question is there a way to let us in there and to find and free her? And maybe give us, well, the clothing is probably the easiest part, I know. We just have to ask for it and the dwarves will show up.
opens his hand. And an axe appears in it. And he sits up very weakly, so basically he looks at Dottie, and Dottie says, "Let me help you." And he takes the axe and hacks off his left hand.
I think that's a point where at least Alice would roll for sanity, because she
Please
did
do.
not count for that. And I highly suspect Dottie should be
20! She loses a d6.
I have
She
a
loses 3.
success in sanity.
Yeah, in this case you lose a d6, because that is simply gross.
I rolled a 6, so...
Oh my god, then you have
I
a
will
temporary insanity.
have a nightmare about limbs being chopped off.
Yes, you will. You do get a temporary insanity, and you can decide what this is going to be, because it's 11:45, so we're gonna finish anytime soon. And he says, "My hand is the key. Put it on the door, and the gate will swing open."
Alice will not touch that hand. She will probably make like 3 steps backwards with a very nasty "ooh" noise.
Dottie takes the hand and puts it in her blanket and basically wraps it in it. And he says, "Just go. Try to find her."
Alice just looks at directions. Same way walk on, or how long of a walk?
He basically points in a direction which is from where the sun is. You would say this is north.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Godspeed." And he closes his eyes and loses consciousness. All the while he is bleeding profusely.
I think Alice would just call out for, "We could use a little help here. Some bandage material. ASAP. Thank you."
You hear hooves in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly 3, 4, 5, 6 horses. Do you look up?
Okay. Yes.
You see 7 horses riding through the air with very blonde women on top of them. And they basically come galloping down through the sky onto the earth and gallop towards you and then rein in the horses.
You're not the dwarves I was waiting for. We have bandage material. We need to stop the bleeding.
You're not the dwarves I was waiting for.
The dwarves said they will show up, although they said we were hungry and need food or blankets. But hey.
One of the women jumps down from her horse. She is extremely tall. Very, they all wear plate armor.
Mm-hmm.
They all have helmets and swords. Do you know who they are?
At the moment, my tired brain is
Okay.
not linking to anything.
The woman looks at you and she says, "Brunhilda."
Mm. Again,
You are the
I hope
mighty
you,
Alice.
you have bandage material. He's losing a lot of blood. We don't want him to die.
She looks at him and she says, "He will not die.
Kind of
will
looks
heal.
like.
Just give it time. He's a god.
You don't have time.
Why does he not have time?
Because you're all past your time already, as far as I. Why am I trying to explain anything to anyone? Just looking.
She
at
kneels
Dottie.
down and she touches the hand where the hand was, and the bleeding stops. We will look after him.
Can you give us a ride to the northern border? So we are quicker there.
She looks around and she says, Vaftrudner, you take the All-Father. The others are with me. And then she says, get up there.
I'll grab Dottie's hand and slowly pull her towards horses.
You get up on a horse.
At least she would try, because getting on a horse is usually for Alice
Not a
normal
problem,
thing.
but it is for Alice. Do you for Dottie? Do you help her?
Yeah, obviously. I would help that she's pulled up, I think, behind me, so she can hold on to me.
And then Brunhilda joins one of her companions, and she says, "Follow us." And the horses start galloping. You can now make a,
Every
Con
kind of
check.
roll. It's all at the same time. Sanity,
Okay.
con, dex, strength.
Poor Dottie is getting a little bit seasick, a lot seasick.
Constitution is a critical success for Alice.
Okay,
She is,
you are fine.
She's let me. Oh, sanity is a 3, so she's enjoying.
Because you are
this.
crazy already, it doesn't
She's
matter.
enjoying this weirdly
Yeah.
enough, I think.
And the horses gallop, and then it's like they are jumping a hurdle, and then you are airborne. And we shall leave it here. Will our heroines make it, or will they fall off the horses? Will the Valkyries decide, hey, these two are really cool, we should turn them into Valkyries? Or
Alice
else
would
is going
enjoy
to
that.
happen?
I think
believe
Alice
so.
would really enjoy that.
And this is the end of Tauri Ries, third part, Water's Edge. And I hope you all enjoyed this.
I hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it massively. As I said, I will need to brush up my knowledge on Northern mythology, although I knew we would go there. But it's like, oh god, I have so many gaps between whose son, daughter, mother, father.
Well, I was
and
impressed
linked.
that you knew Tyr straight off the bat. Because I always have to look up who's the guy who lost his hand to Fenris. I can never remember. And you knew like, oh, it's Tyr.
In some kind of story, I stumbled over Tyr on the Fenrir thing. That's why it was there. But yeah.
But spot on.
I need to read up on Loki, because I'm very, very much into Marvel mythology there, and I know it's not exactly what
Having
is.
said this, they did a really good job.
Okay.
I was very impressed. They did a really good job, which is why I really like those movies. They are really accurate. I mean, as far as you can, it's mythology, okay, but they really captured the essence of it.
Because
Up to and
they're-
including the guy who's always just standing at the bridge going, "You shall not pass."
Heimdall is.
And he does wear a funny hat.
He does wear a funny hat, and he has a big sword.
He does.
So that works for sure. So let's see if we fall off the horse. Hopefully not.
No, indeed, hopefully not. So we wish you all a pleasant... well, this is going to come out right around the Christmas holiday
Christmas
or
time,
festive season. So for those of you who are celebrating, enjoy. And we will be back with more stories about the two ladies, and hopefully they will manage to save the world. We will see it then.
We will see you then.
Bye.
Take care.